Good morning, viewers. Today we will discuss The Solitary Reaper, a short little poem written by William Wordsworth, one of the noted Romantic poets. In the history of English literature, the Romantic poets hold a place of pride because they showed the world that poetry need not sing only the praises of kings and noblemen. It in fact celebrates the everyday experiences of common men and women. Wordsworth is known as a high priest of nature because he celebrates every aspect of nature: the hills, the valleys, the rivers, the birds, the streams, the trees, the woods, just about everything that is a part of nature. Today in this poem, short little poem but beautifully written, we will discuss the theme of the poem in detail through audiovisual support. The theme of the poem, The Solitary Reaper. This module will also focus special attention on certain important sentiments expressed in the poem. For example, the effervescent presence and the lasting impact of nature on human life. In fact, for Wordsworth, nature is a teacher. The understanding of the poem is both ensured and enhanced by a list of questions on appreciation of poetry. A set of questions for self-study helps in gaining a deeper understanding of the vision of life the poem embodies. This is followed by a quiz on the content of the poem. The module also provides web-based video links as support to interested learners and suggests books for further reading. So before we go to the poem, we now understand that this module covers just about everything about the Solitary Reaper. Now, without much ado, let us go through the Solitary Reaper.
Behold her, single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself. Stop here, or gently pass. Alone she cuts and binds the grain, and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the vale profound is o'erflowing with the sound. No nightingale did ever chant more welcome notes to weary bands of travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest Hebrides. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old, unhappy, far-off things and battles long ago? Or is it some more humble lay, familiar matter of today? Some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been and may be again? What is the theme the maiden sang as if her song could have no ending? I saw her singing at her work, and o'er the sickle bending, I listened, motionless and still. And as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more.
Let's first look at the first stanza. One day, the poet chances upon a solitary reaper, that is a highland lass, a peasant girl, singing soulfully as she reaps the harvest. The poet invites us to pause there so that we could partake the overflowing melody of a song that fills the deep valleys around. If we do not have the patience or the inclination to stop by, the poet says, we should at least pass gently so that we do not distract the singer who is engrossed in her work and engulfed in the music of a song. Let's look at the few lines from the poem. Behold her single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself, stop here or gently pass. Where do we find this highland lass? She is in her fields. And what is she doing? She is reaping the harvest. And the poet says, behold her, notice, observe, see. Do not miss out on this beautiful scene of a simple village girl reaping the harvest. And what is this girl doing? She is reaping harvest and she doesn't have anybody for company. She's single, all alone in the field. And what is she doing? She's not sad that she's alone. She's not sad that she has to work, probably when the others are taking rest. But she is singing to keep herself busy. That's a beautiful scene. She's singing, she's working, she's all alone. What a beautiful scene. And we mustn't miss out on this beautiful scene that nature today offers us. So what do? We stop there, because the poet invites us to partake the melody of her song. She's singing soulfully, melodiously, mellifluously. If we do not pause there, we would be missing out on a beautiful experience in life. Of course, if we don't have the time to pause there and we are in a hurry, we should at least pass by gently without disturbing her, because this girl is lost in the melodious world of her own music. What is she doing? She's cutting and binding the grass. And what kind of song is she singing? She is singing a melancholy strain. The music of her song seems sad. It's about a sad theme. The poet says, "Oh, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. The valleys around are resounding with the beauty of her music." It's overflowing. It's as if you have a beautiful cup, and this cup is filled, not only filled up to the brim and overflowing with the music, with the melody of her song. So pause there, my dear traveler, and partake of the beauty of her song. Let's take a relook at the first stanza. There are 2-3 places where the poet uses words that emphasize the solitariness of this girl. If we look at the title itself reads, "The Solitary Reaper." Solitary, alone, lonely, without company, actually indicates that someone is sad probably, and that is why someone is alone, or because someone is alone, someone is sad. But this girl doesn't seem to be sad, although she is singing a sad song. She's lost in her work. She seems to be enjoying the music of her own song. So it is possible that we can be alone and yet we can be happy. Because if you notice in line 1, he says, "Single in the field." And in line 3, he says, "Singing by herself, no company whatsoever." And everywhere, he keeps emphasizing the fact that the girl is alone. And let us also look at the theme of the song, which the poet really discusses at length in stanza 3. Right now, we do not know what she's singing about. We only know that she's singing a sad song, because he says the music is melancholy. And what is the music doing? It's filling the valleys. Because the valleys are deep, the theme of the song is also deep as the valleys. And this music, this sad music, this deep music is filling the deep valleys to the brim. Now let us look at the second stanza. Here, the poet compares the song of the solitary reaper to the melodious notes chanted by a nightingale that soothes the tired travelers who traverse the sultry, lonely deserts of Arabia. Indeed, according to the poet, the song of the solitary reaper is more mellifluous than the soul-filling tunes of the cuckoo that intones so excitedly that the waters of the silent oceans resonate with its thrilling music. No nightingale did ever chant more welcome notes to weary bands of travelers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. The poet is reminded of the song of the nightingale. Nightingale sings melodiously, we all know that. Where does this nightingale sing? This nightingale sings in the deserts of Arabia. Deserts where there is no scope for relaxation. Travelers are tired, the hot sands of the desert. To those tired travelers, the song of the nightingale comes as a welcome whiff of fresh breeze. It relaxes them. And where are they resting? They often go to a particular place in the deserts. What is this place? Obviously, it's a place that gives them shade. Shade from the scorching heat of the desert. And the song, the melody of the song is like a fresh drink of water to the tired souls of these travelers. And of course, the poet doesn't stop there. He says the song of the solitary reaper is probably more melodious than the song of the cuckoo even. And the cuckoo, where does cuckoo sing and where and when? Cuckoo sings at the time of spring. That denotes the end of winter. It welcomes the springtime. And when the cuckoo sings, what happens? The silent seas of the Hebrides, the highlands, the northwest islands. These seas in the northwest islands of Scotland are resonating with the music of the cuckoo. The song of the solitary reaper is no less melodious than the song of the cuckoo that breaks the silence of these seas. The oceanic waves are resounding with the melody of cuckoo. In the same way, the fields are resounding with the song of the solitary reaper. The song relaxes your tired mind and soul, just as the song of the nightingale relaxes the tired mind and soul of the travelers of the deserts of Arabia, just as the song of the cuckoo breaks the silence of the seas in the northwest islands of Scotland, the song of the solitary reaper brings you so much of solace. If only you have the time to pause and partake of the beauty, the melody of the music of her song. The poet is unable to follow the content of the song of the solitary reaper. What does she actually sing about? He doesn't seem to have a clue. All that he can understand is that it is a melancholy song. That is a sad song with a sad theme. And of course, now he wonders what makes it such a sad song. Although he couldn't follow the lyric of the song, based on the music, he could sense that she was singing a sad song. Although the girl herself seemed very happy, the theme of her song seemed to indicate a sad experience. Could she be singing about wars waged long ago, or about some unhappy past events? Or could it be that her song mourns the loss and sorrow that are so characteristic of everyday human life? The poet wonders. What is she singing about? Could anybody tell me? You, my fellow passers-by? Do you understand? Perhaps it's only a guess, the poet says. That's why he says perhaps. Perhaps the plaintive numbers, that is the sad music, flow for old, unhappy, far-off things. Maybe she's reminded of a sad event, a sorrowful experience in the past. Or could she be singing about battles, about wars, where people lose their lives, where there's a lot of bloodshed, where there's a lot of pain, agony, suffering, because war has nothing beautiful about it. It has blood. It has loss of life. And blood and loss of life can only bring memories of sadness to your mind. So is she reminded of those wars that were fought long, long ago? Could it be possible? Probably. That's why he says perhaps. Or is it some more humble lay, a very modest song, familiar matter of today, very modest, familiar matter of everyday life? It need not be as a large-scale experience as a war. It could even be a simple thing of the common people. Or could it be some natural sorrow, death, loss or pain, accident, suffering, disease? All these are common experiences for people like us. We need not be kings. We are ordinary people. And ordinary everyday human life is replete with sorrow. It's punctuated by pain. And this pain can be the theme of the song. It deserves to be celebrated, and that is where we appreciate Wordsworth. And what is so characteristic about this sorrow? This sorrow has been experienced by us, by our forefathers before. It has been experienced, and it will be experienced again. No doubt about that. So probably this song could be about a common experience of death or suffering that all of us experience as part of our lives, our everyday lives. Now, the poet takes us to the concluding sentiments that he feels towards the song of the solitary reaper. Having exposed us to the melody of the music of the song of the solitary reaper, having made us wonder what the theme of this sad song could be, the poet now seems to breathe permanent life into the song of the solitary reaper by saying that the song stayed with him even after he left the place. She was lost in two things. She was lost in her own work, because when you're lost in work, you're lost to the world. And more importantly, she was lost in the music of her own song. It seemed as if she became one with her work and one with her song. There is no girl there, there is no sickle there, there is no harvest there. The harvest, the solitary reaper, and the song became one lost in the element of nature. The picture of this solitary reaper bending and cutting grass, this harvest, reaping her harvest, is ingrained in the mind of the poet. It's so picturesquely ingrained in his mind that long after he left the place, The memory of the girl, the picture of the girl stayed on with him. He forgot to move, probably he forgot even to breathe, because he himself was lost in the melody of the song. He was still, there was no movement at all. As he went up the hill, restarted his journey, the music in my heart I bore long after it was heard no more. It kept haunting me. It was so beautiful and so sad that it was so hard to forget that I kept going back to it again and again. The song stayed with me. The music of the song stayed with me. The picture of the girl stayed with me. So what does the poet want to tell us? That, like Keats, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. The music of the song of the girl is beautiful, and whatever is beautiful will stay with us. And these beautiful memories are what make life worth living. Let us now focus some attention on some of the words that the poet uses to tell us that the girl's song is indeed a sad song. In the very first stanza, the poet says, "It's beautiful, but it's sad. It's beautiful and sad, and in a way it is so haunting that it stays with us. It's so hard to forget. Although it is sad, it is still haunting." And in the third stanza, he again re-emphasizes the fact that it's a sad song, that it's not a happy song. He says, perhaps the plaintive numbers, plaintive again is indicative of sadness. So the girl's song is a sad song. Why is it a sad song? Because it sings about, again, notice the words that the poet uses, unhappy things. The theme of the song is unhappy experiences. It sings about battles. There is nothing happy about battles. Also, it sings about loss, sorrow, pain, all unhappy experiences. So if we notice the words that the poet uses to bring home the point that it's a sad song, we very well understand that the theme of the song cannot be a happy one, because it sings about all unhappy experiences. So it is indeed a sad song. So let us list the words that he uses: sorrow, loss, pain, unhappy, plaintive, melancholy. All that tell us that it's a sad song. Let us also draw our attention to the rhyme scheme that the poet uses in this poem. We all know that poems, the beauty of the poem is enhanced because the poets use rhyming words. They're so musical when we read the poem aloud. Let's look at the rhyme scheme. In the first stanza, the rhyming words are lass, pass, grain, strain, profound, sound. The second stanza, the rhyming words are chaunt, haunt, bands, sands, herd, bird, seas, Hebrides. In the third stanza, sings, things, flow, ago, lay, day, pain, again. In the last stanza, the rhyming words are ending, bending, still, hill, bore, more. These rhyming words lend musical, rhythmic beauty to a poem when it is read aloud. Now let us look at the other aspect, the thematic aspect of the poem. This poem tells us that music has a lasting impact on us. How? The girl sang a song. She was lost in the melody of her song, all right. The poet happens to pass by when the girl is singing, but the impact of the music stays on with him long after he has left the scene. That is, music is the food of the soul. Music has that soothing impact. It has that haunting effect on us. Whether the theme may be sad or happy, music stays with us. So the lasting impact of music is very well epitomized in this poem. The song of the solitary reaper stayed with the poet for a very long time. We still remember the solitary reaper just as the poet remembered her song long after he left the scene. This poem stays with us for times to come, and whenever we are reminded of happy or sad events in life, the music of this girl, this solitary Highland lass, is bound to resound in our own hearts. Thank you.